We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, and this is the Land Academy Show.
In this episode number 1948, today we are talking in depth about Land Academy ladies and their sense of confidence and community. That's topic number one. Mm-hmm. And then a little bit later on in the episode, I'm going to talk about what I've learned about technology and innovation from our other career path members in those sessions. How's your week, Jill? You were out of town the whole time. How is working from out of town in California, warm California?
Piece of cake. It's amazing how much I'll get done without you around. No offense.
I'll take it.
It's kind of funny.
It's amazing how that's a win-win situation.
It's amazing how little you get done when I'm not around. That's really the common theme here.
Is there that much that we need to get done?
Wow. We've been busy gearing up for stuff. We've got a couple things coming up, so I'm excited about it.
We
always have things going on. You know, I don't know if it's a problem. I don't know if it's a positive or a negative, but you and I don't sit still. That's a fact.
I wonder if it's good or bad. I question that also.
I know.
Hey, I hope you're also enjoying our 2023 format. Each week we answer questions from our Land Academy Discord forum. We review land acquisitions from our weekly Thursday member webinar. That's every week. Mm-hmm. And we take a deep dive into 2 land-related topics by popular request that I just described. Now let's take a question posted by one of our members on the Land Academy Discord online community. If you want a sneak peek at that at our Land Academy Discord channel, please go to landacademy.com. It's free in read-only format. People love it.
Yeah. Okay, so Clay wrote, I'm looking for some advice concerning a commercial property that I've come across. The owner wants to sell and has 2 adjacent parcels with road frontage in East blank. Right around this area, there've been a lot of development recently. I mailed him concerning one of the properties and he asked me if I'd be interested in both. I am in light of their location, but I have no idea how to comp what the commercial property will be worth. Does anyone have any insight, tips, or suggestions on how to effectively do this? It may not be any different. This is just the first possible commercial deal I've come across.
This is a regular Tuesday for Jill.
Yeah. Exactly. I love this. Okay. First thing I would do, I look at both. I'm still going to go look at active numbers, just ignoring the type of property it is in a site like Zillow or Realtor, something just for land in that area. You know, I'm going to try to zero in based on the size. I don't think Clay mentioned the size here. Let's just say there are 2 properties that's 4 acres. So I'm going to look at the 2 to 5 acre properties, active for sale, and then what's sold in the last, sometimes 6 months, sometimes last 12 months, just to get a gauge. Now I know it's commercial. I needed to take it a step further. I'm going to go to LoopNet. I'm going to look around there and try to find some similar properties in that zip code, preferably. If not, I'll go out a little bit wider just to get a gauge of what's going on. While I am doing that, I'm going to invariably spot one that looks good, that I like it, that looks really great. It looks, hey, it's 2 miles away. I'm calling this guy. Now I've got to gauge what's going on, and I found a commercial broker in LoopNet who has a similar property for sale a couple miles away. He's the first one I'm calling, and then that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to get, so I have my Zillow number in my head to comp it. I have my LoopNet number in my head, and then my third thing to make sure I'm doing this right is calling a local person who is in that area to tell me what he thinks about
local commercial real estate agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a local broker, just get an idea. Hopefully I found a couple. You know, I don't want to rely on just one guy too. I'd like to call 3. This is what really happens. You know, with these commercial guys, you call 3, 2 of them will email you something and one goes dark, you know, kind of thing. Because the two that they want your business. And they usually email you. It's kind of interesting. A lot of the commercial guys are used to putting together like a quick little 2-page, synopsis of what they think. And here's some comps. They have a quick little template that they'll put data in and email to you. And then I take those 2 guys if I move forward and buy the property. And then I pick the one that I like best. And I usually let them list the property.
With all land, every single piece of land in this country, its price is dictated by its potential use in large part, not completely. The other part of valuing a piece of land is comparison values, which Jill just did a great job describing. But potential use, specifically for commercial property, can vary very much. So there's all different types of commercial property. Envision, an eighth or less, an eighth of an acre in Manhattan, New York, and its designated use is an 82-story mixed-use skyscraper that's got residents. So that piece of land will ultimately be valued on the income stream that'll be created when that project's done and cash flowing. And so that's an incredibly expensive piece of land. The opposite of this is, a quarter-acre property that's zoned commercial in Riverside County, California, that has no water. And so its use is very, very limited, if it can be used at all for anything other than recreation. So those are the two opposite extremes. When you look at commercial property, you have to look at what's next to it. So if there might be a Wendy's restaurant next to it, and then you can be pretty confident after you confirm it for sure that it's zoned the same for a McDonald's. Then you know exactly what it's worth. Exactly. So commercial property is very easy to value, in my opinion, once you get all your ducks in a row and know how it's going to be used.
I mean, that's a good point to bring up, the zoning. It's very interesting. As you're doing your due diligence, I'm sure, Clay, you know how to do this. You're calling the county going, okay, what does C-5 stand for? And it might mean some counties it's very vague. You have a lot of options. In some counties, it's really specific. Like it is zoned for hotel, motel, kind of thing. Some are zoned retail. They can get very, and that's another thing is these brokers know that.
Yeah.
When you call the right broker, they're going to help you, and the right guy too. Not only has comps, but he also says, I got 3 guys that are looking for this. I'd love to get the listing.
So this is a double-edged sword, what Jill's talking about. As an investor, you either love specific use property or you want the freedom to choose. Like agricultural property that's zoned agriculture is completely different than residential and commercial. It's somewhat in between. It also has the most generous use possibilities. You can farm it in most places in the country. How you use agricultural property is very loosely regulated. In a lot of places in the center of the country, not regulated at all. You can build a house there. You can put a mobile on it. You can do whatever you want. Go ahead and subdivide it and the whole thing. I happen to be the former. I love specific use property. I love it. I love buying properties in areas that are very specifically zoned for, let's say, a mobile home property or a stick-built property, and it has to be a certain acreage for you to do this. So I can do what I call a surgical mailer and make a real good decision about value. And very often the owner themselves, they don't know the value of the property because they're not real estate people like we are. So we can send a mailer out and realize what's going to happen with the value, and they don't know about it. And don't care because they're never going to do anything about it.
Don't care is the real point here.
Today's first topic is how Land Academy ladies, Jill's going to talk about Land Academy ladies and their sense of confidence and community.
So I wanted to talk about this today because we talked about this in great detail the other day. Jack was not around, or I should say I was not around. I was doing the Land Academy ladies call this week from another state. I happened to be in Palm Springs at the time visiting my favorite aunt and uncle and with my mom and having a good time. And so anyway, I had the ladies call from my aunt's dining room table in Palm Springs. It was really kind of funny.
Did they listen in?
Oh, no, they did not. I wish they would have. No, they were like being little social butterflies in another room. It was all good, though. But they knew what I was doing. It was really cool. So I wanted to share, because I came back and I kind of filled Jack in on how well it went. He's like, we need to talk about this on the show. I said, okay. So this was our second. By the way, I do not know of any other group like ours. I think I sport the only land investing, fully land-focused investment group, period. I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of our group.
Me too.
It's an amazing group. So
I think this is where this is all going.
I know.
I think women
I hate to tell you this, but we talk about that. What we could do without our men dragging us down. Just kidding.
Oh, men never say that about their women.
Oh, yes, that's right. Well, just so you know.
There's this concept out there called ball and chain.
Oh, well, it goes both ways.
It's the 21st century,
yeah,
right?
Now it's the other way. Jeez, if I have to run one more thing by my husband, why does he, But we talk about that too. So anyway, yeah, it is just ladies. We're all on camera. We all are mic'd up and we all talk about all kinds of things. But so this is our second group for 2023, our second meeting. Here it was in March. Beginning of April. It was last week. And we started with recapping what we talked about in our first meeting of 2023. And I'm going to kind of go down the list real quick for you. And actually, I'm going to go down kind of in ranking. So as we all introduced ourselves and talked about where we were, we all brought up what we wanted to get out of the group. And I made notes of all these. And I'll tell you, our top 3 things that we wanted to address as a group were, number 1, relationship building and community, which is great because that's what Land Academy Ladies is. Number 2, confidence. And actually tied for second place was not only confidence and just mastering that, was wealth and retiring our husbands/partners. I thought that was really cool. And then in third place was tied for third, I should say, we had taking action and accountability with scaling up deal-wise and big picture stuff. So the main things that we talked about, and the top 2 that really jumped out at me, were the confidence and the community, which is what we're going to talk about today. So I thought, all right, I'm going to take it a step further. Now you know who we are, what we're about, and the kind of things that we talk about. I thought I would share a little bit of my presentation it was really technically this week. It was last week by the time this airs, and what we covered. So important. Confidence. I did some research. What's so funny? Why are you laughing?
Because I think that goes without saying.
Oh.
With you and I.
I know. Well, you know what is funny about that? Well, that not necessarily. I have so much confidence that sometimes I only do research just to back up what I think. That's really what's going on. I sat down and thought about, okay, what is confidence? What are the attributes? How do confident people roll? What do people need? Well, how do people build up confidence, right? I have my own little way of what works for me. So I start with that. And then I usually go on the internet and I do some, I'm always reading self-help books. And a lot of it ties into this too. I've been reading a lot about very confident women. Like right now, I'm all into Tupperware. So if you want to know anything about the women behind Tupperware, ask me. Seriously, I'm like on my 3rd Tupperware book. And it's funny too, by the way, I'll have to point out the first book I read really was written by someone who was pro Brownie Wise, if anybody knows who that is. And then the second book I'm reading is the Pasadena crew that were the home of the Tupperware home parties in Pasadena, California, which pretty much debunks a lot of the other stuff. It's the truth behind Brownie Wise. And so now I got both perspective. It's awesome. But
who's Brownie Wise? Okay,
Brownie Wise is the woman that worked depending what you read, she was the closest with Earl Tupper back when he was, when Tupperware was building up in the 50s and 60s. She went to Florida, built the whole she built a a campus for Tupperware home parties. She claims it was all her kind of thing. Everything was her. Earl Tupper was just the man behind the product and making the products to deliver to her to distribute through the country kind of thing. She was on the cover of Fortune magazine. She was the first woman, by the way. She bragged about that later to come to find out. It sounds like she paid her way. I heard she paid $65,000 to be on the cover of that magazine. Anyway, so my point in bringing this
is
up.
Fascinating. It's fascinating to me, always has been, how quickly factions develop in groups, in cliques. And it's something natural in biology because it just happens in middle school for all of us. So, but anyway.
So my point is here, I'm always reading about who I perceive as confident women, and I want to learn from them. So I made my confidence, I'm just going to pick out some things here because I don't want to take too much away from our group. I'm going to just kind of share a little bit about this, and love you to ask me questions. Yep. So my couple things about confidence I just want to point out is a couple ways for you to build confidence is, number one, celebrate your successes and know that you have achievements. You have achievements. We all have done something great. Some of us don't take credit for it, and we should. Oh, you take great credit in your achievements.
I loved it. Well, this is about you, so we'll talk about that later over dinner.
Oh, you're going to ask the questions already? Are you already whoa, stop the press. Go on. So, things about this is my confidence 101 list. Take credit of your accomplishments. I'm going to say, build on those. Acknowledge it, accept it, build on it. And then my third thing, again, I'm not going to share my whole list there because this is from my group. This is where I think people don't realize. I am 100% sure, and the internet backs me up on this, the different sources I looked at. You can learn this, and you can practice confidence. You just have to know how. And that's the stuff that we talk about. Do you want to ask questions now?
Yeah. What do you guys talk about practicing confidence? Is that list surprising to the women on the call? Are they really responding to wow, I do need to do this and this and this and that's going to help me out on a day-to-day basis?
Some people are. Sometimes it, but just you need to hear it. You need to hear it again and be reminded of it. And sometimes, look, I think it's a woman thing. We are usually running around. We don't even realize how hard we're working and how much we're doing. Come on. You know who you are. You're running a house. You may be working your business. You probably have a job. You're running your house. Maybe you're handling remodels. And then at the end of the day, you make sure there's a good meal on the table every evening at dinner time. You are not always celebrated by how kick-ass you are on a day-to-day basis, and we just put our head down and do it again tomorrow, and think that, and don't often pause to take credit for, wow, I'm running circles around fill in the blank people in my world. Whether they are inside your home or outside your home.
Just be honest, like your husband. I'm running circles around my husband.
Yeah.
I'm running circles around my kids and everybody else in my family and all my colleagues. I
made sure that not only was dinner on the table and work done and laundry done and we're packed for our vacation next week, but I thought ahead to make sure Johnny didn't miss his report deadline on Tuesday, because Johnny can't even remember that.
I have to say this.
What? Uh-oh.
This is a Jill thing. This is not a gender thing.
You don't think everybody does that?
No. Well, I know from experience, starting with my mother, you have not been the only woman in my life. And, I'm not here to blow smoke or give you compliments. Maybe it sounds like I should more often.
That doesn't suck.
You hit the ground running in the morning 7 days a week.
It's true.
And a lot of the things that you just mentioned, we're older, so we don't have to do a lot of those things, and you can outsource a lot of them, but you're still doing it.
True.
And so this is a lot of your personality type.
Well,
I do a version of it.
You do amazing. I'm not here to poo-poo you or poo-poo
I'm not
men.
here for compliments.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
I'm not here for compliments at all. This is about you and your group.
Okay.
But it's just separate. It's separate from me, but I do run at the same miles an hour.
Oh, I know you do.
I'm not
This
looking
is
for a
not the
compliment.
Jack show, though.
I'm not here for a compliment.
Okay, good.
This is not.
Okay.
This is why I'm asking you what they're how they're responding to this, because
supportive. Do you know what?
So no woman in the group says, "Yeah, that's great, Joe. You've got a type AAA personality, and that's great." But we don't do that here.
No. Wow. No.
That's what guys would do.
Oh, why do you do that?
Because we all can learn from it. It's like, I do that over here, and she does that over there, and it works out really well.
We're supportive.
Nobody makes a bed because neither one of us care. That kind of stuff. Thursday night's Domino's pizza night, so you don't have to work at it and I don't have to work at it.
Okay. I mean, there's stuff like that we talk about.
All right, good.
Yeah.
It's not all just peaches and cream and
Oh no. But well, that's part of this. You have to. Well, let me go into my next point here and you'll see why. So I will share this one part with everybody here from our group. I shared a list of 5 things that confident people do that I believe to be true. One is confident people do what is right, not what is popular. I'm famous for
that's
that.
for sure.
I barrel ahead going, I don't care what everybody says. No
boy,
offense.
that's for sure.
I don't care what anybody says. This
You don't
is
have
how
to
I'm
say
doing
no
it.
offense anymore.
Okay, sorry.
Because it's not possible to offend me.
Okay, got it.
I mean, in the universe of
Well, I
possibilities.
meant for everybody here,
Oh,
not
okay.
you. No,
Okay.
I don't mind offending you. That ship has sailed. No, but
You could say you look fat in those jeans today, and I would say thank you.
it's true. That's one of my favorite things. We are so past all that. That's so true. I'll tell you, Jack sometimes will happily tell me, Jill, that is not your best look.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Not
all
often.
right, noted.
And not often, and not with a tone where it's,
I don't know. You give me a chance. You don't say it when we're out to dinner. You will say it when I'm getting dressed. So at least I have a
if you
chance
ask
to
me.
correct.
Usually you ask me.
correct myself.
I don't walk around the house saying, yeah, that's not
No.
right. She asks me.
That's true.
Making me out to be,
I know you're good.
It's not without sensitivity.
You're
Let's
good.
put it that way.
All right. So let's back to my thing. 5 things confident people do. One is right. They do what feels right. Feels right. Not what's popular. I want you to underline the feels part here. They take risks.
That's good.
And I love that. I'm not afraid to just go for it. Let's see what happens. And neither are you, by the way. Confident people admit mistakes and learn from them. That is huge.
That's tough for a lot of people.
Huge. Oh, I know that is. Yeah.
And I'm glad I would open with that.
Myself included. I still have trouble with that, but I get through it. They're able to accept compliments. This is something that I think women, myself included, struggle with. I have to get better at that. I'm always getting better at that. I always try to my initial reaction when someone says, wow, what a great job. I go, oh, I had help. Or, oh, it wasn't just me. Instead of just saying, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. So, and this, I did not know this last one. Now it makes sense. And I didn't come up with this. I was reading a bunch of stuff. I'm like, wow, this keeps popping up. Because I don't think confident people all necessarily share this trait. Because I know many confident people, they do not share this last item. So this surprised me. But confident people are typically optimistic.
Well, the keyword here is typically. So, and I mean, I hear typically meaning 51% of people.
I'm optimistic. I hear I hear 90.
Every confident person I know and choose to hang out with is not an optimistic person.
Isn't that funny?
They're realistic.
I know. See, that's what you would
I don't think going into unless you're a career corporate salesperson, going into anything with, I equate optimism with lack of knowledge and just lack of real core tools to get a job done. I don't need optimism if I have the tools to get a job done. But this is the Jill Show, so don't listen to me.
I tuned you out on that.
I'm sorry. This is the only thing I really disagree with so far.
That's hilarious. Well,
optimism will crush your overly optimistic will crush your real estate career.
I disagree.
And make you a pain in the ass to hang around. That's the truth.
Well, I'll say overly, but you can, but still optimistic. I don't know. I got to tell you, Jack, I go into things going, no matter what, I'm going to make this play out the way I want it to play out.
I think that's great, Jill, and you're very successful at it. I go into everything saying, this is probably not going to work.
I know.
And then 50% of the time it works, and I'm happy with that.
It's really sad. So, okay, you're bringing down the whole thing right now. I got to tell you.
Because I'm not optimistic.
I know. Well, why are you here today?
I can go get a cup of coffee if you want.
Maybe.
You know what? I'll sit here quietly. This is a joke show.
Jeez. Maybe the new topic should be Land Academy Ladies, their sense of confidence and community, and how Jack likes to bring it all down. No, just kidding. So what questions do you have then? This is obviously does not come naturally for you.
Yeah.
So do you want to ask me some questions? Because hopefully there's still a man or two listening.
Yeah, they all want to listen to me and break this down.
Yeah.
Boys don't talk about confidence. You know, and I am launching later this year this is my plug for my version of Land Academy's group called Man Plan. Mm-hmm. You can go to manplan.com and sign up to get notices. Go to the website. But men don't, men would sit around in a group and talk about confidence and say, why aren't you confident? And they would probably say, I don't know. And we would all say, you should be. And if you're not, what tools do you need? What are you not feeling about to go into whatever you're about to go into? Because you obviously are not prepared enough. You're not read up. You didn't read up enough, and you don't have the physical or theoretical tools to get what you need to get done. And that the man's response would be, yeah, you're right. I don't know how to send a mailer out, and I don't know how to answer the phone. Great. I can deal with both of those things. Come over here. Come with me. I'll show you exactly how to do it. And if you have any questions later, let me know. That's how the whole meeting would go with men.
I understand. We get to that, but it has to start up here first.
Okay.
Mindset. Just feeling good about what you're going into. Then we're going to go, all right, now I'm going to get really good at this. I'm going to sound like a pro. If that makes sense, which is like apparently what you jumped to. So, all right. So then my last thing was, we talked about confidence a little bit, what we shared and my list and traits, and then the community. I mean, that I'm sure you do that too. You wouldn't be working on Man Plan if you didn't see a sense of community needed for men.
You absolutely need a sense of community, no matter who you are.
Do we? That is really, probably the biggest point behind Land Academy Ladies is because, come on, we're in a niche already. Think about this. As a female land investor, do I meet all those? Do I meet those on my day-to-day walking around life? Nope.
That is a community.
Right.
And a powerful one.
Yeah.
And you know what's so powerful? I guess I am selling something right now. What's so powerful about Land Academy Ladies is they all found it. Each individual person found that community on their own by doing research and internet and listening to episodes like this. Instead of you going out there and spending a bunch of money on marketing and plugging all kinds of stuff.
That's what's great about this group too. It's because you asked, you wanted it, I want it too, and I started off the other day sharing with the group that, hey, I want you all to know that I'm getting a lot out of this too. It's not. I love this. I need the community too. As much as I love the day-to-day operation and just in the trenches with you, Jack.
Jill and I have a during recording kick in the shin signal for me to stop talking. And she hasn't done it yet.
What is it?
I keep waiting, like kick me in the shin and that's enough.
Usually it's hand on the knee. Hand on the knee, then if the hand on the knee is not enough, then there's a squeeze involved. And you've left bruises before.
That's not true.
Okay, maybe not.
But she hasn't done it to me yet, so
no,
must be okay.
You're really good. Do you have any questions before we move on?
I think the Land Academy Ladies thing is the greatest thing I've ever heard about. I don't think there's specifically for buying and selling land.
Yep.
And I think all the feedback that we're getting company wide is positive. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't really have any questions, and I'm sure that you're approaching it the right way.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at one of our favorite land acquisitions from the weekly Thursday member webinar.
We have, would you do this deal? We are in Pepin County, Wisconsin. $46.56 is our purchase price. Thinks we can sell it for 15 to 20. It's 3 acres. Everybody's access is, right on the road.
It's the Mississippi River.
Owner, great. Everybody's alive. It's 1 mile from Lake Pepin and a lakefront campground. let's see here. Anything built here would have an uninstructed view of the lake and the Mississippi River. Now, Jack likes it. The property appears to have significant slope at the bottom. Well, hang in there. It's also
You guys
3
get it.
acres.
You guys get an A+ for postings today.
Yeah. But
Oh,
there are
geez.
flat spots in the middle and towards the top.
You can stop.
Well, just give a second. Look at the roads coming in there. Somebody's coming in on the top, coming down from the top.
Veto.
Hold on a moment. A property just to the east on Google Maps looks like it has a similar concerns and they were able to build there. Zillow shows next to nothing for sale, but it does show some recent sales. Okay.
I want to see this Lake Kind property. Yeah, they dug all this out. I think you're really asking for a headache here.
Can you put a man down there or no? Did the Google car go there? That's a hard no. All right.
There's a ton of dirt.
Yeah, there is that.
You know what? I wouldn't kill it yet, but I would ask a real estate agent. Significant slope.
Well, and ask the county what would
Yeah.
have to be done to build here.
Yeah.
And if they say, oh,
Price is so cheap. That's why we're still talking about it. But in fact, maybe you just go in and try to kill your own deal. Maybe try to get it for $1,000.
3 acres. I know it's kind of
Just say,
cool.
look, it's not usable. Nobody thinks it's usable. I'll take it off your hand for $1,000. Then I would do it.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Hey, if you don't know this by now, Jill and I started and operate and own a commercial printing company to make sure that you get offers to owners, real estate owners, both houses, land, and commercial property, or whatever's in that universe of land database, 150 million units of real estate in our country, to make sure that owners get your offers effectively, cost effectively, and priced correctly, and all of it. It was built out of our frustration from sending out mailers years ago using other commercial real estate printers that didn't understand us. They were too busy printing catalogs and sending out bills for hospitals, healthcare systems. So all we do with offers to owners, offers2owners.com, is get your mailers in the mail correctly. And I have to tell you on a personal note, we just got out of a meeting and they are 2 weeks behind. We were in the process of hiring new people because it's so busy and so successful.
On the concierge side.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Let's take another question posted by one of our members on the Land Academy Discord online community. Again, if you want a sneak peek at our Discord channel, please go to landacademy.com. It's free.
Okay. Herbert G wrote, hi Herbert, I hope you're well. I'm getting ready to send my first house mailer a year after purchasing House Academy. I would love for you to talk a bit about the due diligence process of buying a home the House Academy way on one of your upcoming shows. For me, the hardest part about real estate is knowing if I'm getting a good price or not. Apart from inspections, what should newbies do or look out for when purchasing a home? How do we answer the questions such as, what are the expected costs of repairs needed to get the ARV, which is after repair value? The reason being that if we are selling primarily to fix and flippers, then they would have to account for that cost as well in their purchase price from us. So how do we come up with a sale price that makes sense to them? You want to go first?
You have a bunch to say on this, unless you do.
Go for it. You start.
House Academy and pricing house mailers are pretty dramatically different, and in my opinion, a lot easier than pricing land mailers. Land mailers, you don't have as much data. The product that you're buying typically with a piece of land it's a different size. It's in a different part of the zip code. It could be zoned differently. So many variables. With houses, you get a mailer back from a house, and it's in line with 19 other houses or some number like that are in almost literally the same value, plus or minus maybe the shape that the house is in, which honestly we don't care about too much, and here's why. Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and DataTree and all of those companies now have pretty sophisticated algorithms to value properties with an address, a post office address. Most pieces of land don't have that. They don't have a post office address even. So if you look up 123 Main Street in Carefree, Arizona, on any one of those sites, they're going to give you a value. And so what we do directly in the mailer is we take all of those values. Let's say we use 5 companies, Realtor, Zillow, and on. And we take all those algorithmic values and we get the average and or the mean of that value. And so now all these very sophisticated multi-million-dollar algorithms, the average of those is $919,000, for example. You decide how much profit you want when they get your mailer. So if it's $919,000 and you want to make 40 grand, you subtract it from that. If you want to make 400, you subtract that. And so, and on and on and on. The more you subtract from that value, the less response in general you're going to get, and less positive response to your mailer. Mm-hmm. So you can price yourself out by going too low. That hasn't been our experience with land, within reason. People generally know the value of their house, but they have no idea what the value is of their land. So the mailers are there's less yield to the mailers, but more profit. It's much, much, much easier to sell a house very, very quickly. If it's priced correctly, it'll sell that first day or week, depending on the market that you're in. But you know the market you're in because you're running the red, green, yellow test just like always. And you pretty much can predict exactly what's going to happen, especially if you buy the house at a reduced rate. Personally, Jill and I won't do a house deal unless we make $100,000 on it net. That's after real estate fees and all of it. So it generally has to be around $120,000 of gross spread. And we'll send out thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of mailers because the math works. I hope that helps with pricing. On to due diligence. When somebody signs your offer with a house and you're confident, you're looking at on the internet like we always do with land, and you're saying, wow, this is a pretty good deal. I priced the mailer right. They accepted my offer. I'm ready to go. Then House Academy / all SFR due diligence kicks in, and this is where I lose a lot of interest.
I know.
Take it away, Jill.
Okay, I'm going to go through these
This is where the people part of this starts.
I'm going to go item by item here too to answer this. So can we go back? So the first thing you talked about, go re-scroll for a second. Okay, so due diligence. So first, let's talk about the due diligence process. Obviously, it's way more involved because there's a structure on it, right? It's not like land. I can just Google Earth it and call it done. You need to have someone inside there. So Herbert, I know you know this. You're going to have boots on the ground. If it's not you, actually, I hope it's not you, because I know you should be working on other things. You should have a either trusted broker that you know and love, like he's almost in the family, that we can trust him like that, not just anybody, or somebody of that level to be your boots on the ground. They need to know what they're looking at. They need to be able to walk in a house, and it's not like they're going to go, oh, don't buy it. You just need them to properly tell you, here's how bad the roof is. I saw cracks in the foundation, or man, this thing only needs a paint job and new carpet, kind of thing. Because you're going to have all different things that come back with houses. So that's, really due diligence we need to think about. Now, we go down here, and then getting a good price or not. I kind of covered that. I know. I don't think that. I don't think that's. And as far as inspections too, like we do pay for that. I will get that home inspection. Am I buying
without exception?
No, but am I going to pay the $700-800 whatever it is to get the guy to go in? Because that's the first thing. Phase 1 is my boots on the ground, telling me what they think. And if it's enough that I'm going to move forward, then I will get a regular inspection, and that's all built in.
May I on this next one?
And then
he says, what are the expected repair costs in ARV? I specifically say pretty loud in our program, don't ever use the word ARV anymore. Mm-hmm. ARV is something that whoever you're going to sell this house to, your target purchaser of this house is the person who's going to fix it up and flip it for more money than they paid to you. So your job is to buy the house real cheap, orchestrate the boots on the ground. Hopefully it's vacant. If it's vacant, there's not a lot of stuff you have to do. Buy the property for cash or with the funder, and then get it out on the internet because the price will speak for itself. And it's people who renovate houses will come out of the woodwork submitting offers. They're not going to look to you for ARV. You can just stop right there with expected costs and repairs and all of it. That's on them. And if they're worth their salt in any way, they've already got that worked out, and they see your price is listed for $230,000 and everything has sold for $320,000. They are going to buy your property that day.
Right. So we know that. You know about what the expected end price is, because the expected end price is what everything else fixed up is selling for in the area. That's really easy to do. But yeah, I agree with Jack. You don't put that into the posting. It's just and I know Herbert knows this because it's all over House Academy in the program. It tells you how to properly convey the property and what to put in your posting that's going to sing to these people, kind of thing. So and that's all this. My only last comment is I missed this part.
I did too. There's more to the question.
So let me get to this. This is a long question. My comment about money though is I'm okay with a $40,000 to $50,000 profit to me, because here's what usually happens on our House Academy deals. We'll buy it in such a good area that I can cash in, cash out in 30 days. Not kidding. Because I'm ready to go. I have guys, when you get rolling in this, Herbert, and you're working in an area, you're going to have people that missed your last deal and they want to get in on your next deal. And the guy that got your last deal can't wait for your next deal. So you are going to have 5 to 10 investors lined up
quickly.
So you can, the day you close, text these guys an address and say, give me your best offer, kind of thing. And you can expect to make $40,000, $50,000 or more $1,000 on a deal inside of 30 days. And you're not doing anything. You're not even sweeping. That's House Academy. So also, are you using the simple purchase agreement in our mailers all the way through the deal? What you have, Herbert, in House Academy is real. It doesn't have to be that involved. Remember, if you bring in a broker or agent on the buy side in House Academy, you are giving away money, and you're taking that out of your pocket, and you're taking that out of that seller's pocket.
Please don't do that.
And that's the point that we make with these people. Thank you for signing this and sending it back. Isn't this great? You and I are making the deal. There's no agent. Especially that seller's benefiting, because usually the seller pays for the agent, not the buyer. So they go, oh, I see the value right there. I'm surprised there aren't many contingencies in our agreements, because they're not needed. You do it. And escrow, remember, when you open escrow, anything that is, let's just say, necessary to complete the transaction, any documents like that, escrow will provide. You don't need a broker or real estate agent to do that.
What other contingency, philosophically, what other contingency would you need in a house deal other than pending my approval of the inspection? I'm gonna, depending on the inspection that comes in, we're either going to remedy it together, or we're not going to do the deal. I have to approve the inspection and the stuff at the end. Title's
going to want a version / scaled down percentage of documents to meet their title policy requirements.
Yeah, that's right.
And it might be the lead-based paint thing, right? So that's a good example. They want you to sign it. You feel good signing it. It doesn't matter. You don't need a real estate agent to do that for you. Escrow will give it to you. So I think that's it too. People don't know. Remember, we haven't seen it in a while. Remember the old days? I remember in the 80s, you see a sign in the yard that said FSBO, for sale by owner. That was my dad. Yep. My dad was famous for that. I loved that.
We are too.
Exactly. And you know what? What I think a lot of people don't realize is you can sell your house by yourself, putting that sign on a stick in your yard, and then open escrow, and escrow makes sure that whatever's necessary, may be required by the state, or at least for title insurance, is included. sit back and let them do it. You don't have to pay 6% to somebody else to do that.
All these flippers are cash buyers, or they have business partners who are the money people, or in some cases they have hard money loans. All those lenders are really easy to work with. Bank lenders are different. And so if you end up selling to an end user, which we've done, where they're going to move in and do the repairs themselves, or maybe the house doesn't even need any repairs. We've done a lot of deals like that. They might have a few more documents that are required, but in large part, every state, every association of realtors in the state uses a contract that's ridiculously unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's an inch thick if you printed it out, and if you really read everything, it's all there to protect the agent and the agent's broker, and not necessarily anything else.
Exactly.
It's the whole entire industry is rooted in fiction and false compensation, in my opinion. You do not need a license to sell your own piece of real estate or buy someone else's real estate. You do need a license, as required by law, as far as I know, in all 50 states, to represent someone else in the sale of their real estate.
Right.
And you're not representing, you're buying it.
Yep.
And then once you own it, you're selling it.
Exactly. And you're welcome, Herbert. He wrote, thank you.
Great question.
Exactly.
Jill and I had the opportunity to meet him a few years ago, and it was just a delight. It was a great conversation. We ended up eating dinner. It was a lot of fun. I don't know how that happened. It was a small group or something. But
that was in town. Exactly. It was really cool.
Today's second topic is more of a technical one. It's called What I've Learned, meaning me. What I've learned about technology and innovation during our career path sessions.
I just thought, not to interrupt you, but I just thought of something funny. That's something that we haven't done. I'm surprised that when we met Herbert, it was a group that made their own little get together in our backyard. And now we have to go.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
You just got invited to it?
Totally. So I'm waiting for somebody else to say, screw you, Jack and Jill. We're going to plan our own event. We know you'll come.
And we will
We're
come.
We're going to do our own event. Just happens to be, in Scottsdale. Would you guys show up? Okay, yeah, well, of course.
Here's the conversations we have on that. Should we plan our own wedding or be invited to someone else's wedding?
I'd always rather be at somebody else's wedding.
We don't want to be in the wedding either.
No.
We just want to be a guest. And we will make you proud as your guest.
We will show up. We will make you look good.
Every career path, or every once in a while, somebody asks me what I do for a living, and every greater once in a while, they're actually a really bright person. So I tell them, this is what we do. We buy and sell land. On the side, we have this thing called Land Academy. We send out mailers, and the young ones will say some version of this. God, it seems like there should be an app for that. There seems like there should be some software solution where it's not out of 1959 where you go into Excel, create a mailer, and send it all out all over the planet. To which I say, you'd think. You'd think there would be something to make this a lot more simple. And a lot of people who come to a career path come from the software industry with that intent, and some of them succeed. It's succeeded writing their own software, and it's very debatable whether or not they go off and use this software effectively, because there's still a lot of manual decisions you have to make, and algorithmic decisions don't address. That is specifically noted by Zillow's failed attempt to try to buy houses with algorithms. They really failed at it. If you're bored sometime, look it all up. It happened a few years ago. If you want to overpay for real estate, over-design some software that'll tell you to do that. That's the fastest way to do that. You need to make I, at my age, need to make a physical decision about whether or not to buy property. And I mean manual, not physical. I need to make a manual decision about where to send mail and how to price it. There's tools we can use that help for that. My whole point in leading up to this is that every time we have a career path session, we spend a substantial amount of time in office hours, which is a 2 or 3 hour session every week that I hold personally, Jill and I hold personally, to review these discussions and review their software and some of it. And if the stuff worked, I would take it on immediately. There's a lot of technology coming. I hear the word AI 20 times a day, as I'm sure you do. And some of it's legit. Right now, having an artificial intelligence piece of software go out on the internet and write a term paper for college is ridiculously accurate, effective, cost effective, and compiling text for AI is what's hot right now. The counterbalance to that is all I get is 500 emails every day saying, look at this new AI. You can, here's a good example. The Ford Lightning, which is a Ford F-150 truck, now comes with an option where it can automatically hook up a trailer. And it uses this through literal radar and all kinds of stuff in the back of the bumper. Is that AI?
You know, it's
Hold on a second. Let me just drive this point home. Let me drive this point
I'm
home.
scared by that.
Is that AI? Or is it just a really cool hardware and software combination, that's hooked up to a computer in the dashboard and it's with some hardware on the back of the bumper? And I would argue that is, my point is this. AI is so overused right now and so hot. Just beware.
Okay.
And you have my personal assurance that if there's a better way to send out a mailer, I will do a program on it.
Okay. So you're telling me I'm supposed to trust with a push of a button, I just stand back and watch my truck hook up my boat and then I just drive off that it did it right?
I have the same concerns you do, but I have to tell you, being really honest, it's age related because I would never push a button and have a car be parallel parked either. Would you?
Well, okay, hold please on that one. I have a vehicle that does that and I love it. But do I just like close my eyes and just like, or do I get out of the car and let it do it on its own?
Which one of the cars parks itself?
The silver car.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It does that. It has that feature. Well, it'll back itself in the parallel park itself.
Does it work?
Yeah, it's pretty darn cool. But I man how fast the speed it goes, and I have my foot hovering over the brake or grab the steering wheel at any moment. I don't feel good about it. It's like, am I really going to get in an airplane? With no one up front?
I'm not.
Seriously, would you get in an airplane with no one up front?
No, there's no way.
Never mind behind the scenes. That is happening.
So that's what autopilot is.
But I know, but there's a reason why we have people there for a backup, just in case. I would
not get in a driverless car either.
Right, I would not. If that showed up to pick me up, I'd say nope.
So my point is,
but if someone's up there just kind of, even if they're up there, painting their nails, but keeping an eye on things, I would get in that.
My point is not to judge all of this hardware. This stuff's all coming. It's all going to happen. And younger people, as has happened since the beginning of time,
mm-hmm.
are more accepting of new ideas and new technology than older people are. So it hasn't crossed the plane yet, and it will cross the plane into land investing and house investing and all of that. It hasn't crossed yet. There are some things that can allow you to, if you write the right piece of software, locate the top 10 places when you set in parameters to send a mailer. Mm-hmm. And what you would be sacrificing, in my opinion, by executing software like that is all the amazing other places that are overlooked because there's not enough data. It's only as good as available data. So in the case of that F-150 Lightning, it's got all the data it needs. It's all spatial data.
For the certain hitch.
To buy a piece of
whatever.
To just down on this.
Oh, no, yeah. I don't like it.
But it does, you can't argue with me. It's got all the data it needs to hook up the hitch.
I would eat a salad or a pizza that a robot made. I have no trouble with that.
My point is, you need a perfect data set or near perfect data set to find out where to send mail. And all technology would only find data sets that have enough data in them. And I can tell you right now, the vast majority of markets that we send mail to, we're eyeballing it at the end. And we're making a very educated decision that it's probably going to work. And it does for us, 95, 98% of the time. And most other people in Land Academy, from what I hear too. So please beware of AI. The minute it happens, I will be there to help.
Well, what you just said at the end, problem solved. They're not stepping on our toes because they don't have the data. They don't know how to work with it.
They will though.
Exactly. Are we going to share another one of our calls to review?
We did already. Sorry, Jill.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at another one of our favorite land acquisitions from our weekly Thursday member webinar.
Would you do this deal? Marion County, Arkansas, 40 acres, buying for $30,000. Kind of liking that already. $80,000 if I'm able to secure an electric easement. Nah. So sell for 70. I'm good with that without it. There's an easement for access granted on the deed,
Good, because it doesn't look like that is access.
but it's not specify where the easement is.
How does that read then?
I don't know. I had
It's got to be on that south end.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got to be here.
something.
There's like a little road.
I paid for a survey to clarify where the easement was. There's a dirt road of sorts going across the neighbor's land to this 40 acres. The surveyor says this is the only logical place and outlined this as the easement access. The neighbor, however, is disputing this access. Here we go. And says it's her road and no one's allowed on the road.
Didn't we look at this?
And we need to gain access. I don't think so. Elsewhere. And she pointed out on the deed where it does not specify where the access is. Okay, see,
There's always trouble.
there's going to be a little, I'm kind of like, now I'm out. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to fight with the neighbor. I talked
See
to
if she wants
surveyor
to buy
again.
it.
That's true.
Mhm.
And to see if there's any possibility. He said, nope, the terrain would not allow it elsewhere. Okay, so then that means you can go back and fight it. So do you think it's worth getting a legal opinion or just to walk away? Thank you. So that, you're right. A conversation with that neighbor saying, look, I've been doing some work on this. We all know that I can't be landlocked. So there's going to be some
Mhm.
access somewhere. So either I or the person I sell this to, it's going to probably wreak some havoc here. And there's going to be some extra stuff done. And we're going to have to figure out where you're going to have to give me access. Or I can sell it to you right now.
Buy access, maybe.
For that, yeah.
Or how much would it take for you to let me use your road?
Yeah. This is worth fighting for.
Okay.
There's $100,000 here
Yeah.
of profit. Maybe you get a lawyer, send a demand letter, scare the hell out of her or him or whatever. This is worth it's a great piece of dirt.
Mhm.
Jill, you have something inspirational to share.
Inspirational to share?
Yeah.
You know, I think I shared enough today.
Wow.
This has been a long day.
How great is that?
Gee, thanks.
No,
wow.
I've never heard you turn down anything.
Well, thank goodness I'm confident.
Jill's middle name is Can't Say No.
Yeah. Okay. How about you? What do you want to talk about? Informational
Long-term
for us?
goals.
Okay. Go.
This whole talk about ladies. You know what men need? Goals. And you ladies should know this more than anyone. If you don't point a man in the right direction and tell him how to get started and then manage his progress or lack of progress, most men are not going to follow through. So men need, and everybody needs long-term goals. And then at the end of that success period, because you set a long-term goal, you need to know how you got there and what you did well and what you didn't do well. You did great. You know, in my case, oh my God, I priced it right. The mailer looks good, but I suck on the phone. Well, Jill, that's why I got Jill involved. And so you have to take those long-term goals, break them all down into months and weeks and years or however it makes sense to you, and hit your milestones. And this is the important part, make sure the right people are involved. And I can tell you, at my age, you think at the time the right people are involved until they're not. And so now I firmly believe that there's this ongoing social recruiting thing that goes on in the world, in your life. So with the exception of probably your children.
What do you mean? What does it mean?
I might be
What's
married.
social
I might
recruiting?
have a great business partner today. She's great today. But you can't just wring your hands and say, oh, that's done. You need to manage that relationship and make sure that they're happy. And this is, if you have employees, already know this. If you have a company and with other employees, you already know, especially if you've got gray hair like me, you know that the staff that you have right now, as much as great as you think they are, might be different next month and certainly different next year. So putting the right people in place is imperative for you to accomplish long-term goals.
Okay.
And that staff or that wife or that business partner might not be the last one. And that's the truth.
Okay.
I wish somebody would have given me this advice even 10 years ago.
All right.
It's an ongoing thing. If you're an auto mechanic, it's an SVT transmission. It's constantly changing gears. You're increasing and decreasing speed And there's no more, I'm in first gear, I'm in second gear, I'm in third gear, manually or automatic. It's an SVT and it just continually changes.
Noted.
Join us next Wednesday for another boring episode.
I was going to say.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. We are Jack and Jill. Information
And inspiration.
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.